Draw in this little piglet. Okay, so the one leg comes here, and I'm gonna have to make the hoof like right there. That comes up a little bit, and other hoof is here. Okay, and then we have a nosy. And now we're going to start placing the markings of this little Berkshire piglet. We have the eye on the left coming up next, right after this. And of course, it's always a wise idea to put the next eye in right away. And if you notice, you may not notice, but there is a slight tilt where the left eye is a little bit lower than the right. And I'm placing that right eye now. So this particular piglet has black markings on his nose, and he has black and white markings throughout his body. I am using this darker color to correct problems that I see in the drawing, and you'll see I'll be wiping out, as I am right now. It's all about correcting, but you can't correct something unless you put something down first. Now is the time that you want to make those corrections. So we're going to start with our block in, and normally I start with the darkest darks, but in this particular case, I am starting with the lighter colors and the mid-tone colors. So I'm just blocking in what is known as local color or the base color of this piglet. Now this purplish tone is there to indicate a shadow. And you can see I am beginning to put in the lighter colors, and they're coming in thicker. If you look at the how the brush is loaded, you'll see that there's a lot of pigment on the brush. And finally, we're getting to the darker tones here. I really should have started with the darker tones first. And as I progress with this painting, um, I'm acutely aware that I have not painted probably for almost a week. And so I'm kind of a little bit lost here. So this is not one of my best efforts, but I thought I would share anyways because I know this happens to even the most accomplished of artists. You know, even if you're painting every day, you're not going to paint good every day, and you'll have your struggles. And I do have my struggles with this painting, and you'll see as it develops. But one thing's for sure, I did edit out a lot of the struggles. What do I mean by the struggles? Well, I kept painting the same area over and over and over again. I would move to a new area, but then come back to the area that I felt I was struggling with, and I just kept doing the same thing over and over. Has that ever happened to you guys? Where you find yourself overworking an area because you're trying to find the solution? You know there's a problem, but you can't identify what it is. So sometimes you overwork an area and you have to scrape it all down and start over again. So you'll notice that the body of the piglet is placed, but it doesn't stay that way. The same goes for this horrible color that I'm putting on right now for the background. I don't know where I was. Actually, I really don't know where I was when I was doing this, but I'm going to show this part. I didn't show the body that was developed because it doesn't stay. I make big changes, and you'll see that later on. So stay tuned and see what happens. Right here is an example of me overworking something. I had put the lighter color on, and now I'm coming back in with a rosy color again. Of course, right here I'm working on the eyes, but the point is that just a second ago I reworked an area that I should have left alone. And now I'm beginning to develop the nose. I do have some struggles with the nose too. I will say that I probably struggled the most around the piglet's nose and mouth area. As I said, the piglet does have some black markings that are on his snout, particularly the nose part. And that's kind of hard to get in here with trying to make the nostrils, as you can see. stealing paint again. You know, he's got a sloppy little mouth here. Right in this section here, it looks like I'm getting my confidence back, but I'm really not sure about that. But I am trying to detail certain areas, bring it to that final polished look. Get the black back. Oops, a little messy right here, but we'll fix it. And now for some painter's calligraphy. And what do I mean by that? Adding some lines. I think I might remove this because I don't think this is reading right. So I think we're going to do some kind of green here. You know, I haven't painted in a little while, so it's been a minute. I don't know, I'm so close to just taking it all off. I really am. When I get to that point of thinking that it's a failed painting and I'm ready to take it all off, sometimes I get a little bit more bold and take more chances because I feel like if I mess it up, hey, I was going to take it off anyways. Notice that I just applied some blue into the upper part of this painting, and that is to create atmospheric perspective. So blue recedes, and that means it goes further back. And when you're dealing with 2 dimensions, you have to do things like this to create 3 dimensions. And as you see coming up, the lower part of the grass, or the grass closest to the bottom edge, I will warm up. And that means that that part of the grass is the closest to the viewer. That also helps with a 3D effect. So, to wrap this up, blue recedes, or anything cool, gray, blue, recedes, goes farther back. Anything warm like yellow, orange, a yellowish green, that comes forward. And that's what you want to create 3D. Before I finish the grass, let's put some polish on this little piggy. I'm not putting lipstick on, but I'm putting highlights on. And here is that warmed up grass color. Time to sign. I want to thank you for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment.